As a veteran, small business owner, what can we do for you?
What we can all do for all veteran business owners is promote each other.
My main mission was to look at tools of technology to leverage small business and give them more of a competitive advantage.
My mission for Veteran Bargains is very simple: to help vets.
That story in itself, to run for Vista City Council, is a journey.
I think this is an opportunity to really collaborate with those gone before us.
It's really kind of a labor of love.
And now your host.
Happy Friday. Welcome once again to this new episode of the Veterans Chamber Radio Show. I'm your host, Shelly Harrison. At the back end of our show, we have our producer, Michael Woods, our founder and CEO, Joseph Molina, and monitoring our comments today, I believe we're going to have Michael Woods doing that too. The Veterans Radio Show features military veterans, spouses, and community leaders making an impact in business, nonprofit, and the government for our veteran community. Our sponsor today is also our guest. We have Max Emma, and he is the CEO of Books with an X, Bookkeeping Corporation, and Bookkeeping Franchise, Inc. And I'd like to also mention a little bit about Max. So on this episode with Max, he takes pride in taking responsibility for everything that happens within his company, including project confidence, provides stability. He lets employees make their own mistakes, strategizes, creates safety nets, makes decisions, and continues to grow, reflect, and accept the universe. So at this time, I would like to welcome Max Emma to the Veterans Chamber Radio Show. Welcome, Max.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Shelley. It's great to be here.
We're very happy to have you here. And we also want to say hello to our CEO, Joe Molina. And he just came from another show that was just a little bit earlier than this. Welcome, Joe.
Well, thank you very much, Shelly. Really appreciate it. And welcome, Max. Thank you for participating on our radio show. And I'm looking forward to hearing your experience as you created the bookkeeping experience as a franchise. And as you know, franchising is very important aspect of starting a business for veterans, because it comes already with a structure. So as veterans, we like the structure. So we looking forward to hearing what in the interview how your experience was as you created your company, and any tips that you want to share with the audience. But Shelly, thank you very much, and have a great show.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
So
Joe.
Max, yes, why don't we go ahead and get into this? So Max, share with us about your business as far as what you do within your company, and also how you came up with the business name, because I know it's unique with the X in bookkeeping.
Absolutely. Well, actually, before I get into how I started this business, I want to mention that my parents brought me here to the United States from Russia at the age of 18 without speaking pretty much any English. And we just decided to make San Diego our home because my brother already lived here for a few years prior to that. And so I had to start my life from scratch because, I left my friends, I left my university, everything that I was so used to with minimal English. Yeah, so that's how it all started about 28 years ago. So I feel, I would say related to veterans who are getting out of the military service and they have to start in, I don't want to say a brand new life, but in a way it is a brand new life for them.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to go through that. I'm thankful to my parents for doing this. That was very brave step for them to do, and I'm very happy to be here.
That really is.
Yeah, and since we came, that San Diego been home for all these years, and that's where my family is right now.
Beautiful San Diego.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was your first reaction? We'll get into, about your company, but what was your first reaction when you arrived in San Diego?
Well,
coming from Russia.
That was 1993. So back then we didn't have the internet yet.
Oh,
I mean, we
yeah.
did, but it wasn't as popular. So I didn't see a lot of, I didn't have a lot of exposure to the United States. So it was completely different. I remember nothing shocked me more than visiting Disneyland. So for me, at the age of
Oh, yeah.
18, going to Disneyland, that like changed my life. I'm like, oh my God.
Happiest
I
place on earth.
It definitely was the happiest place on the
Yeah.
earth, and I remember that took me like a while before I could forget that. So that was just the biggest impression. But you
Oh.
know what, I did realize that it is a land of opportunities, and
Hmm.
you can go and make stuff happen. And in most of the cases, it's up to you. So I mean, I went to school right away, learned English, got a job in about 6 weeks after we came, and the rest is the history. And after I got my degree in accounting, I worked for
Hmm.
Qualcomm for four
Oh,
years.
Qualcomm. Yeah. In
Yeah,
San Diego. Yes.
absolutely, doing corporate accounting and finance. And
Yeah.
about 4 years, I just decided to take a risk and open my company. And so I left Qualcomm in 2002 and opened my small construction company with my dad and
Hmm.
grew it from 3 employees to 96 employees.
Oh, my goodness.
But then, of course,
Wow.
2008, 2009 came, and I lost pretty much everything. Had to shut it down because of a
Mm.
recession, and nobody was building anything. And I started
Ouch.
the company from scratch again. This time was more successful and sold it 4 years later. And I was debating what else I can do. What's now? We didn't
Yeah.
sell it for the amount that anybody could retire off. There was a good,
Hmm.
amount to help us, be okay for a year or two while we figure out what to do next. So then
Yeah.
the idea of bookkeeping came to my mind, and um, I opened the company together with my wife, and we just literally started from the
Yeah.
garage. She was doing the
Wow.
work, and I was
Yeah.
running around getting the clients. And in
Hmm.
terms of, you ask how we came up with the name
Bookkeeping.
bookkeeping, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. We were just playing with words and
Uh-huh.
just playing like, okay, bookkeeping, and then changing letters, and all of a sudden we just had bookskeeping. I mean, you change one letter, it still sounds, like bookkeeping, and hopefully you
Yeah.
can trademark it. And we were able to trademark the word, and that became a history. And then it didn't come till later when I realized that my name is Max with an X, and then bookkeeping with an X.
Oh,
So
there
that's
you go. That's the
yeah,
correlation.
I know. So
Makes
people think,
perfect sense.
absolutely, people think that we've done it because of that, but actually that came as an afterthought. But so
Oh,
bookkeeping was open in 2012, and
okay.
about 6 or 7 years later, uh, we grew it to several offices and employees in different parts of the world and clients
Wow.
throughout the United States. And all of a sudden, we just got an idea. So what's next? We learned
Hmm.
how to build businesses. We knew how to run it, how to make it successful, how to get clients, and the idea of franchising came to mind. Simply, okay, we know all of that. How can we share it with the world? And
Yeah.
so again, took about a year of putting a business plan together,
Hmm.
talking to the attorneys, getting the documents, and literally 14 months later, we got everything done. And we are now
Wow.
selling franchises in 35 states
Oh,
in the United States. Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank
So
you very
you
much.
really expanded. And do you think that the experience that you had with the construction company with your dad, that probably really prepared you for what you're doing now? Would you say?
Well, I'd say that helped a lot, but also experience of losing everything and,
Oh, yeah.
just starting from scratch. That was probably the best thing that could happen to me. I call it my free MBA. It's actually was very expensive MBA, but
Yeah.
it helped me to realize that, hey, this is not the end of the world. You just regroup, you think
Yep.
what's next, and you do different things, the same thing, but you're doing it differently and you're doing it better. So definitely it helped a lot. Obviously, bookkeeping and construction are two completely
Two
different
totally different
business.
things. Oh
Absolutely,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
you have to service your clients and you have to
Hmm.
take care of your employees. So that's the same for both businesses.
Oh, okay. Okay. So as far as your ideal client, which, who would be interested in starting a franchise, what does that, what are you looking for with that particular client who might be interested in franchising?
Um, It's a great question. Actually, we're looking for two types of people. Either somebody who has an accounting background and understand bookkeeping and just wants help in structuring everything and
Hmm.
help and assistance in getting new clients. So that would be group number one. Group number
Hmm.
two is someone who wants to become an entrepreneur. They might not understand accounting that much. They're willing to learn, but they
Yeah.
want to do something with their life. Part of the offering that Bookkeeping franchise has is that we can find and help you hire employees for your company. So really,
Oh.
we can
Hmm.
find somebody who understands accounting, who is trained in accounting, and can do the work. So your
Hmm.
job as the owner would be going and getting the new clients because
Yeah.
without new clientele, having all these employees is useless because
That's right.
what
That's
what
right.
what's the point? And
Yeah.
again, when we were putting a marketing plan together and doing research, an idea of offering this franchise to veterans and active military spouses came to mind.
That's
Um,
phenomenal.
and
Yeah.
I've done some research and I found out that on average, uh, franchises sometimes less, sometimes more to
Hmm.
veterans, and not usually no discount for active military spouses. I actually decided to take it to the next level, and for both groups, we are offering 30% discount in franchise.
Oh, that is fantastic to our veterans.
Yes,
Yeah,
veterans and
that is
active
wonderful.
and
And
active
active.
active military spouses, because
Yeah.
I realized there is a problem when an active military is moving from city to city. Their spouses has to start finding the job from scratch. But with bookkeeping
Yeah.
opportunity, you can actually pack it together with your laptop, and you can
Hmm.
service your clients from anywhere in the world. Because
Right. As long as they have a cell phone and a nice spot to do, to actually work.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why we make it a very affordable opportunity. We're not asking for a lot of
Hmm.
money. You don't have to have a real estate. You don't have to, have an office. You can literally do it out of your uh, bedroom or your living room. And
Hmm.
COVID actually proved that that can be done because now
Yes.
everybody's doing the
Working from
business.
home.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And, when you think about, just your life right now, coming from Russia, starting this wonderful company where you're in 35 states, what gets you up every day, Max?
Well, opportunity to get better, opportunity to learn new things. I strongly believe that when you stop learning, you die.
Mm,
So I'm always looking for different opportunities. Like I don't
yeah.
stop after the franchise. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next, but I know if I
Mm,
continue doing exactly the same thing for next 3 4 years without changing anything, I'm just gonna be very unhappy person. So
oh,
that's the main reason why I left Qualcomm, because I just, was the same thing. They were paying well, but I just couldn't do the same thing day in day out. Like I
yeah.
need a challenge. I need something new to learn. And even though we are in the same industry right now, meaning bookkeeping, becoming
Hmm.
a franchisor, it's a completely different world because now
I
we not
know.
only have to serve our clients, we have to serve our franchisees because
That's
literally
right.
they're
Yeah.
our partners. They're
Hmm.
the ones who will be talking to their clients, but their
Right.
success is my success.
That's right. And that's what I was going to say is you want them to be successful. So whatever you could do to help and support them, would be key, definitely. With your business, Max, where do you see your business going? You've already expanded into 35 states and you can't say that you want to be in all the states, but I want to kind of hear from you. What do you see in 2021 for Bookkeeping?
So I just want to mention we are offering bookkeeping in 35 states. I wish we were in all 35 states, but we just starting selling bookkeeping franchise as of June 1st. So this is a recent thing, absolutely. But we are available in 35 states. So my goal is actually to have presence in all 50 states. But for 2021, our goal is to be at about 15 franchises by the end of next year. So the goal is to sell 5 before the end of this year. And we have a couple candidates who are in the last stages of the agreements right now, of reviewing the agreement. And then next year, I want to open 10 franchises. I say only 10 because I know we can do more. Well, I mean, right now the starting price ticket is $15,000 for the franchise fee, which is
very reasonable.
Yes, it's
very reasonable.
Inexpensive, and now the government is actually offering a lot of financing. It's available, so I don't want to say money is cheap, but money is definitely less expensive than it was even a year ago. The interest rate came down, so. My goal, I say only 10 because I really want to start slow. After that, we want to be selling about 20 or 25 franchises a year. Bookkeeping itself is $4.2 billion a year industry just in the United States.
And that makes sense. Absolutely.
If any business needs a bookkeeping. And, of course, if you're Qualcomm, you need a huge accounting department. But if you are a small construction company, or an attorney, you don't need somebody full-time or even part-time. You can hire a bookkeeper for a couple $100 a month who will be doing your books and will be taking care of your financial statements.
Yes, no, that sounds wonderful. And thank you for articulating that for us, because I think it's important for people to know as far as the franchise part of your business. It's, they're supported. They get a lot of, just help doing this. And it sounds like, you're definitely headed for more success with having more franchises, or franchisees. So at this point, what I'd like to do is kind of recap for our audience, and we're going to go ahead and bring Joe back in just a second. But I'd like to just let everybody know that we're here with Max Emma, and he is the CEO of Bookkeeping Corporation and Bookkeeping Franchise Inc. And he is also our sponsor for this episode. So we'd like to, definitely thank Max for that. And as far as Joe, I know, Joe, we're going to bring you back in and kind of have you wrap up a little bit with us.
I just wanted to mention, Shelley, if you don't mind, that if listeners have additional questions, please feel free to call us, even if it's just a consultation. I'm here to help. Obviously, there is no obligation to talk to us. You can call me either at 858-483-2669 or send me an email at max@bookskeeping.com, and it's bookkeeping with an X.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks, Max. We appreciate that. And I know we had some comments too, but right now we're going to go back to Joe, and let's have Joe kind of chime in here. Oh, I think he's muted. Joe is muted. We can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go. You're on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, right. So yeah, I want to say thank you, Shelley and Max, for the clarification of what it takes to kind of start a franchisee, and for sharing your story. I know we embrace entrepreneurship in the chamber, and it's good to hear from a successful person the process that someone goes through. Sometimes we give up too easy, or sometimes we go to different directions. But it's nice to hear from the other side of it, from someone who has made it happen. So thank you very, very much for sharing with us, and anything we can do to support your approach and make this program available for veterans and military families, happy to support. Thank you, Max. Thank you,
Thank you,
Shelly.
Joe.
Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. And we're going to get back to Max here asking just another question. Max, what are your final thoughts that you'd like to leave with our audience today, just to help them and have them understand what your company is all about?
Well, just as the unsolicited piece of advice, I would suggest for people, for the listeners, and for the veterans who are getting out of the military or who have been out for a few years, don't be afraid to take risks. If you don't take risks, nothing is going to happen. I absolutely believe that. And one of the reasons I believe bookkeeping franchise is a great opportunity is because you can start doing it part-time. You don't have to dedicate 24 hours a day for this cause. You can have a full-time job and slowly start getting the new clients, seeing if that's going to work for you, seeing if you need employees. Start slow. Don't rush into that. That will come. Once you understand the business model, you'll be able to get new clients. So,
yeah. And actually, we had Maria ask, is there some type of license that is required to run a franchise?
It's a great question. Actually, you don't need to have a license because bookkeeping is not regulated. It's not the same as being a tax preparer. You don't have to have that. We would suggest for you to become like an Intuit Pro advisors and get some licenses through software providers. But we do include very extensive 14-day training.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
As well as ongoing support, which includes weekly calls free of charge to all the franchisees. And also we include a lot of resources where the franchisees can go and take the classes and get certification themselves. So the short answer is no, license is not required. You will be getting more clients if you start getting the licenses and becoming certified in a certain industry, because it means you can bring more clients this way.
Oh, yeah. And, I just want to point out, too, this past Monday, Max Emma had done the Monday tips. And I would encourage everybody to go back to the Veterans Chamber Facebook page to listen, because they were some great tips. I mean, I'm a business owner myself, and I found those tips to be very, very informative, Max. So thank you.
Thank you, Shelly.
Yeah. Well, this is the end of our show, and I could talk to you for much longer to find out more about you. But we do have to say goodbye. And I'd like to thank our audience for joining us today for another episode of the Veterans Chamber Radio Show. Catch us every Friday. Typically we're on at 1:30, but today we had a double show, which was kind of fun because both Laura and I, and Laura's a co-host, she was able to do a show earlier with one of our new executive directors in Idaho. So with that, Max, again, thank you so much. And we appreciate your sponsorship too on supporting our veterans. Is there anything that you'd like to mention in terms of, partnering with veterans and how we can help you?
No, just spreading the word out that you don't have to get out of the military just to find a job. You always have an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. And as I said, don't be afraid. Yes, you are taking the risk, but it's a very minimal and calculated risk. And hopefully that's the reason why you want to get into franchising, because we will teach you what mistakes not to make, because trust me, I've made all these mistakes myself over the years.
Well, especially with an accounting background, you definitely understand numbers.
For sure.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. All right, Max. Well, again, thank you so much for your sponsorship. And to all of our listeners and followers, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Shelly. Have a great day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.